And now, let's meet our panel. The woman who started it all, Sheryl WuDunn, is a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and entrepreneur and co-author of the best-selling book, Half the Sky. Please welcome Sheryl. Next is the dynamic leader of PBS, which just took the lead in winning all the daytime Emmys. Please welcome my friend, the president of PBS, Paula Kerger. Next, the talented executive producer of Women, War, and Peace and producer and director of Pray the Devil Back to Hell, Abigail Disney. Please welcome Abigail. And of course, Geena Davis. So let's get started. First, I want to say to all of you here today, it is a miracle that we were able to get all of these women with us today, and it's a testament to their commitment to women and girls lead. I think if this really works out well, we're going to be able to create our own public media version of The View. But without the yelling. We don't yell in public media. Sheryl, let me start with you. I know that concept is really in your head right now. People talk about a movement for women and girls, and you and Nick wrote about in the incredible book, and by the way, each of you have a copy. How do you see that as a broader movement connecting to people in our local communities, the communities our stations serve?
Well, first of all, let me say it didn't start with me. It really has been a movement that's been developing over the decades. We are just messengers, and thankfully, I think that we've been good messengers. And I think what this will mean for public television is that you can actually reach out to people in your community and get them involved. I mean, not only is this going to be a public television event, a series of events over a number of years, but it also offers a way for people to get involved through social media, because there will be a lot of social media elements as well, and not only take the content that they've absorbed just because it is so compelling and moving, but also do something with it, either through a click here or there, by getting personally involved in some of the organizations in your local communities, and I think it's a chance for people to feel that they can make a difference. So I think that's where the real edge comes.
Great. And Paula, let's talk about the fact that PBS has taken on very important issues. And why do you think this one is going to be great for our stations and communities?
Well, this is a particularly significant project because so many of the outreach projects that we've been engaged in public broadcasting have been around single events, single documentaries. And we've all seen over the last weeks and months leading up to Monday's broadcast of Freedom Riders, really the momentum of taking an important film and not only broadcasting it, of course, reaching a wide audience, but community screenings, all of the outreach around the bus tour, really using the film as a way to begin a discussion in communities. This is an extraordinary project because this encompasses multiple films. It's over a period of 3 years. And so often when we build partnerships with organizations, we do an event and then the event ends and then we sort of move on. And this is an opportunity for every station to start to create the kind of relationships that we can sustain over a period of several years, and frankly, really begin an effort that can go on even beyond the life of this 3-year project. And if we can do that, I think that'll be extraordinary.
I believe that totally. And Abigail, you are involved with leadership organizations and filmmaking, really a wide range. And how do you see these films, basically independent filmmakers, making a connection to our audiences? I mean, we're talking about a very diverse group. We're not one size fits all in rural communities as well as the cities.
Right. Well, I guess, I'm a first-time filmmaker. I was a first-time filmmaker at 47 years old. And for most of the 47 years before that, I'd been working with women's organizations and leadership organizations. So I'm pretty familiar with how many of them there are and how strongly women do come out and support these things. And so when we brought Pray the Devil Back to Hell out into communities, what struck me was how women show up for each other and with frequency, and they come and they ask for more. They see a film and then they want the next film and the next film. And so I think, as Paula said, it's an opportunity to build, longitudinal relationships that are much, much deeper with communities of people who are willing to show up and show up and show up again and again and again.
Absolutely. And we have such an interesting panel representing all different aspects of, I would say, women's achievement, and yet there is that common connection that does bring us together to show up. And Geena, you represent this intersection of total star power, and then through your research institute and connecting data. How do you see the potential of Women and Girls Lead really pulling all of this together?
Right. I believe firmly in the power of media images, that they have tremendous, tremendous impact on how we see ourselves and see each other. And this occurs right from the beginning, from the very first things that kids see. We judge our value to society by seeing ourselves reflected in it. And women are not at all reflected in numbers equal to the population or to their importance. The message is constantly being sent that women have less value and are less important. So the more images that we can see of women in leadership positions, in the STEM fields, and doing all kinds of different things than we typically see, especially female characters, it has a tremendous impact. I mean, this is just a tiny anecdote that might seem self-promotional, but when after the show Commander-in-Chief finished, it was just on for 1 year, they did a study that showed that people familiar with the show were 72% more likely to vote for a female candidate for president. So that's just one character in during 1 year's time. So it had a tremendous impact, and these images of women that people are going to see in Women and Girls Lead are going to have a tremendous impact and really lead to change, to significant change, I think.
One of the things you may be asking as you saw the clip, these are tough issues. And one wonders, will people want to watch this? But what I think everyone here is saying, the basic humanity, the stories are so powerful. You are pulled into the story. You want to know what happens. And I know, Sheryl, through your book, kids in high school were asking, how can we help? A whole new younger generation really wants to know, how can we be involved? What can we do? And it is really what Abigail is saying, and Geena, that there is a connector here. And it doesn't matter if the women are in a country far away or they're in a local community. There is something that will bring us all together, watching and getting engaged, that is going to have a powerful impact in terms of what's going on in the community and working with ITVS and NCME. And I know you were touching on that question.
Well, I'm blown away when we take the film to high schools at the power of the reaction, and I'm convinced that there's something incredibly powerful for kids high school age to see someone their mother's age doing something great, because in fact, you adjust for age and we start to really disappear on screen. And another piece of what's radical, I think, about what we're doing, it's not just that we don't see images of women, we also don't see the world through a woman's eyes.
Right.
The defining central eye of a film tends not to be a female, especially when it comes to war. And so to take that perspective and to look at the world through those eyes is radically redefining of the reality. And for some reason, young people just are so moved by this, and they want to come and they want more. I know that from such long experience.
The other thing that I would add is that when I also speak to audiences around the country, both at all ages, what I'm amazed is not only what Abby is saying, that it's the young people, but that it is also men and women.
Yeah.
I am just struck by how when I go to college campus, there are a lot of young guys there are who are really interesting, really want to go out somewhere to India to make a difference. And so that's really heartening too, because this is a call for social change. We're not just asking women to help. We want men and women of all stripes, right and left on the political spectrum as well, and they all do respond to it. So I think that's what's also very engaging about this, that it's something that all members of society can join in on.
I was struck when I heard you speaking at the Ford Foundation a couple months ago when this project was launched about your own experience with your own son, and you had a suggestion which I thought was fabulous that you should share.
Well, I was thinking in terms of there's a special connection, between a mother and their son, and I think they really want to understand that their mothers exist in the world. They don't see images of us either, and I think it's very demeaning to them to enter a universe that doesn't contain what they know exists in their lives. So I suggested a take our sons to the movies kind of day for mothers and sons to go together and to watch this kind of material.
Well, I remember, I guess it was about, John Abbott would know, 5 or 6 years ago when Country Boys was launched. And the reaction to that film, I think, just crashed Frontline's website. So many people were moved by the story of these 2 young boys in Appalachia who, because they weren't given a chance for an education, were going down that path of a life unfulfilled. People wanted to know, what can we do? And sometimes it's just a very simple thing, and then that's what moves mountains. So I think this is going to have a powerful effect on public media, on all of us. And I look forward really to working with these incredible people with us today. But every one of you are really the key to the success of Women and Girls Lead. So first of all, thank you so much for coming out very early and such a show of force, very, very positive. I'm just so proud to be working with you and for you. Thank you. Join me in thanking our panel. Thank you. I can't.